So I have a custom keyboard. It's a Null Byte Snap keyboard. I'll link it down below so you can take a look at it. Um, this custom keyboard is built by me. So I soldered everything, I did everything for it. And last night it just stopped working. Well, that's not true. Half of it stopped working because it's a split keyboard. I would show it to you guys, but it's all disassembled because I'm trying to fix it. The point is, there's a sense of pride when you build something yourself. There's also a sense of understanding of like roughly how it works, um, and of how you can use it. And that's very nice. And that's very nice. But when you run into a problem, such as half the keyboard stops working when it doesn't have direct power to it, and then you start to fix it, and then you break half of it, half the keyboard doesn't work now, regardless of if there's power directly into it or not, it becomes not frustrating, but slightly annoying. Then you're like, let's take a step back. Let's take the night off. Let's deal with this tomorrow morning. Let's just go to sleep. Go to sleep, wake up. You're like, let's take care of this problem. It'll probably take an hour. It's been about 5 hours. I don't think I'm any closer to solving what's wrong with it. If anything, I've made it worse. Um, and that's extremely frustrating. Even though there's like troubleshooting guides and like whatnots and everything like that, it doesn't. If the documentation's not fully completed, it makes it hard to figure out what actually broke. Now, the way I expedited like certain procedures and figuring out what was wrong was I used Claude, the AI, by Anthropic, I believe, and then I inputted all the documentation on how to troubleshoot and how to put this keyboard together into it. And then I told it, hey, this is my issue. Help me solve it. We went through a bunch of steps for the last like 2-3 hours. Um, and it's nice because I can ask the AI questions, right? Like I can be like, hey, I tried these pins. Were they the right pins? And then I can send it a picture and like show it. So it's cool to have tools now that can help you troubleshoot and help you solve problems that before you would need like an expert sitting beside you or a Discord server and going back and forth over and over again to solve it. And so this would be a really great video if I did solve it and I can take you through like, oh, this is what I did. This is how I solved it. This is like the AI thing they told me. That's not the case. This is a video about when to give up. Sometimes you just gotta call it quits. Not forever, but just for the day. So I ended up just like putting together or like just grabbing like a random keyboard and using that for now. Because sometimes it's not worth spending another 8 hours trying to bash your head against a wall, which we don't do because we're not getting no more concussions. But if you're concussion free and head like an ox or whatever, go ahead and start bashing. But after 4 or 5 hours of that, you start stumbling upon this belief that, hey, I don't think I can fix it. And that's not an ideal belief to have, but it's one that can appear. And so the best course of action is just to step back and say, hey, this is a tomorrow problem. Let's just continue on with our day. Let's go over like what our plans are for the next year, like what we're aiming for. Let's start doing, for me, my vision exercises. Let's forget about the keyboard because it'll be there tomorrow. Nothing's going to change from today versus tomorrow. But if I burn the entire day just working on this one task, with no results at the end of it, yes, I've troubleshooted a bunch. Yes, that's sort of solved. Like I've done steps. And I acknowledge that I've done those steps. But at the end of the day, you will still feel like you did nothing that day. The entire day was wasted. And that's not ideal. So sometimes it's just best to just walk the fuck away. And there is a Discord for this like keyboard. And if there's any problems with it, like you can message like people on it. So I am doing that in the background for today. And the rest of the day is going to be focused on actually progressing in certain ways. I'm going over my goals, go figuring out like my standards for next year and everything like that. But sometimes it's okay to just give up and just say, hey, today's not the day. It'll be tomorrow. Because you don't want to be disappointed in yourself for the entire day. That's it. That's the video. Pretty straightforward. It's okay to give up for a day, for a week, for a month. And sometimes it's okay to just toss the project completely aside and just say, hey, this is no longer a me project. But you got to be careful with that because you just don't want to give up forever on something you like or care about. Have a great day. Enjoy your life. Whatever. Blah blah blah. Enjoy New Year's.